بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين
ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I wanted to just thank everybody for coming this evening, and wanted to thank Dr. Saib Yunus for inviting all of us and having. I'm really honored to be a part of this program and be here with such a distinguished group. We have a lot of things to cover tonight, this evening. My name is Masood Satari. I'm the founder of the Rebuild Afghanistan Summit, a small organization here in the Bay Area. And Dr. Saib Yunus asked me to help in coordinating the evening this evening. So first, just wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight. And wanted to just talk to you quickly about the agenda that we have. There's a lot to cover. And so we'll try to keep things flowing the best we can. For dinner this evening, we have the pleasure of being here at our restaurant. I've eaten here before. The food is very delicious. I'm sure you guys will all enjoy it. Because this organization, the International Movement Against Child Marriage, is a small organization, we're asking everybody to cover their cost for dinner, which is $10. If you guys can all pitch in to take care of that this evening, it's going to be a big help to the organization. We have a full program tonight. We'll start first with the recitation of the Quran by Brother Jalaluddin Waizi. and then we'll proceed with the rest of our program. So,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
Rosie, for that beautiful recitation. So like I mentioned earlier, we have a pretty full program tonight. This is the official inauguration for the international movement against child marriage. And as many of you may have personal experience with this issue, which is quite common within the Afghan community, but also outside of the Afghan community. I really wanted to thank Dr. Farid Yunus for his leadership in this regard, to bringing this important issue to the forefront, having such distinguished members of the community here involved in the inauguration of this organization, and hopefully this is the first step of many that we continue to take to tackle this problem and hopefully eliminate it one day in the future. Many of us who are Afghan have stories of our own grandmothers, maybe even mothers, or even great-grandmothers, or someone in our family that we know that grew up as a child and were married at a very young age. And you guys have all heard stories of the repercussions and the impact that it has, not just to the children of the child being married at such a young age, but also the impact on the family, the society, and the entire, all of humanity in general. The ripple effects continue. So this is not a problem that will get solved with one event or one meeting or one organization. It's something that all of us have to tackle on multiple fronts, and really wanted to thank all of you for dedicating your evening this evening for discussing this issue. And this is just one of many steps that have to be taken for us to make an impact. So I wanted to really thank all of you for taking the time and taking that step. And really, you guys are the leaders in this community that want to make an impact in this field. So with that said, our first speaker, our keynote speaker, will be Mary Steiner. She's the Vice President of the San Francisco chapter for the United Nations Association of the United States of America, UNA-USA. And I wanted to just apologize early on. We have such a distinguished group of presenters and speakers tonight. If I were to go into a full introduction and let you know what the accomplishments of these folks, we would be here for a week. So I just wanted to apologize for that and just do a very short introduction, and pardon me for that. But these are all very distinguished and accomplished individuals. So with that said, I wanted to introduce Mary.
Hello. Thank you all. It is a very great honor to be included with you and to have such an incredible gathering of leaders in this area. And most of all, I want to thank you for reaching out to us, the United Nations Association, because our main purpose is to work with other organizations and to provide a platform for action and a platform for partnerships in sustainable development and in ways to protect the rights of children, and also to bring women to the negotiating tables to make peace. That is our platform this year, and we have been planning several programs, but most importantly, we're focused on women and children, and every woman here, I think, can relate to her mother or her grandmother, and most importantly to her child as the future. I am very confident that we can eliminate child marriage if we all work together, and we have with us through the United Nations a series of treaties and agreements that have been made since 1924. And even in 1924, the nations, through the League of Nations, were concerned about the rights of the child and realized that children have a special need for protection. And how many of you know that there is a covenant for the rights of the child? Is that news to everyone here? That the United Nations has a covenant to protect the rights of the child. And it was created in 1958 and ratified by 192 nations in 1989. So it's been in effect for about 27 years. Whose children are protected? That is the issue today. And what kind of protection do we want them to have? The Rights of the Child Convention speaks to all of the elements of a right, similar to the rights of adults today. The right to life, the right to health, the right to education, the right to play, to have their own views heard, to have a family life, to have at least one parent, if no parents, to be with a family. Protection from discrimination and violence. And with all of that, we know that child marriage is a form of violence. It has been recognized by other nations. The Afghanistan delegation signed this treaty in 1990 with a reservation that the parts of the covenant that applied to Shia law would be held according to Shia law. And all those rights, such as age for marriage, age to have children, are essentially the issue today, and don't need to be an issue if children are recognized as children and needing special care. Oh, that we could all have special care and could all have had a very happy childhood. How many of us can say that we've had a very happy childhood? And what is a happy childhood? And so it would be a happy childhood not to have any experience with war, displacement, violence against any of the parents. Today we have children who are growing up in cities that, as you know, are being bombed and are essentially traumatized and shell-shocked. Those children need special support. And so it's the responsibility of us adults to protect those children and to realize that half of our population around the world is experiencing war. The United Nations was formed in 1945 here in San Francisco Bay Area to prevent war, most of all to prevent war. And what does it take to prevent war? It takes economic and social development. It takes the freedoms that we have, the rights that we have, and it takes peacekeepers. It also takes a judiciary system. We have the International Criminal Court, and it deals with such issues as rape, and it considers rape as a crime against humanity, and humanity meaning that all of us are part of the human family. And so our future generations, as we agree here, are at stake. I have been working with several experts in our organization who have experience working for the United Nations. And I brought with me a very special person, Janet Roberts, if you join me up here. She's worked all over the world for the United Nations, UNICEF, UNDP, UNESCO, and she's been in the field and has had experience at least on the borders of Afghanistan. And she could relate to you what can be done in the neighborhood, in the community, not just within a nation or outside a nation through the United Nations and its organization. So Janet, you have the floor.
Well, thank you, Mary, for inviting me. And I'm going to stay focused on our task, which is to look at child protection in Afghanistan. And bring to your attention what UNICEF is doing there. I had a page of notes up here in a handout for 2 pages, and it disappeared, so I've had to reconstruct what we're doing. But where we're going to start is, no, not this is your presentation, is with the clip from the UNICEF, and it's on UNICEF's site. And then I'm going to comment about what UNICEF is doing in the country. UNICEF is the agency of the United Nations which focuses on children.
Dollars for her hand in marriage. The shy schoolgirl says she was devastated.
But I was crying very hard and telling my parents that I don't want to go through with this.
Even Fazana's little brothers were shocked.
I would would have missed my sister a lot. She provides a lot of support for my family, and the groom was too old.
Rosanna says she pleaded with her father to cancel the wedding, promising to eat only bread so she wouldn't be a financial burden on the family. But her father says he had no choice. Earning less than $30 a month as a casual laborer, the money offered from Rosanna was too much to refuse.
We were so poor, we had nothing. If we didn't have these problems, we wouldn't have agreed to this marriage.
In desperation, Rosanna's mother, Habiba, alerted local members of the Child Protection Action Network, which is supported by UNICEF. These men, along with a local religious leader, spent 3 months convincing Rosanna's father and the groom to cancel the wedding.
The main reason for child marriage is poverty, and that forces parents to agree to early marriage. The second reason is low awareness amongst families about Islamic principles and human rights.
Child marriage is widely practiced in Afghanistan. It's a practice UNICEF says can only change with the involvement of the whole community.
If violence against children remains widespread and socially accepted, most children later most out of and suppression of minds is the same. So we work
Some of the most powerful advocates for child protection here are religious leaders. In Pushte Yakdam village in Herat province, Imam Muhammad Yusuf Zai has made it his personal mission to end child marriage.
Islam prohibits child marriage. Even if a boy and girl are engaged, they cannot live together until the girl is mature. Islam does not permit such marriages until the bride and groom have grown up.
It was the community's intervention that ultimately saved Rosanna just 10 days before her wedding. She's now 12 years old, and like any child, she spends her time playing and going to school. This is Karishma Vyas in Herat, Western Afghanistan. For more information, go to unicef.org.
Do not have the technology here to make this more audible for all of you. But if you're interested in the actual interview, you can go to the UNICEF site, Afghanistan, and to the problems that it's dealing with in Afghanistan, and you will find this tape, Promised in Marriage, a young girl gets her childhood back. Perhaps we have a little bit more light. Yeah. So let me review the key points about what UNICEF is doing in this program, and they are a template. I'm familiar with this process because I've worked with it in a couple of other countries. When Farzana, and that's not her real name, of course, to protect her, was 10 years old, her father, a farmer and laborer in a small village in western Afghanistan, arranged for her to marry a man 40 years her senior. The groom, already married and the father of 6 children, most of them older than Farzana, paid $9,000 to Farzana's father in return for his daughter's hand in marriage. The 10-year-old begged her father, as you saw, to call off the marriage, even promising to eat less so that she would not be a burden on her family. The instances where I witnessed this, I was working with a project in the Republic of Georgia for the UN as a monitor for Geneva. It was on deinstitutionalization of children. I could not fathom why, in visiting the orphanages, there were all of these beautiful children. And then it finally came to me that they all came there when they were 8 to 10 years old. And that is the age at which they started eating more, needing clothes, and needing to go to school. And here we have another 10-year-old. Her father remained unmoved despite her protestations, but her brothers, her little brothers, whom you saw are much younger than herself, don't have to cope with this problem when they're growing up, were supportive to her and did not want her to leave their house because of her presence there, and they needed her a lot and loved her. She belongs to a poor family in a village in western Afghanistan. The income of the family is $30 a month. Her father, of course, had difficulty supporting his wife and 3 children on this amount of money. So the offer of $9,000 was something he could not refuse. So what are the structures that mediated the situation to come to a different outcome, as we saw? The structures are one called the Child Protection Action Network, C-SPAN, which is a grassroots network, we might call it an NGO, supported by UNICEF that works for the protection of children across Afghanistan. And it means it works locally and has the language of the local people and understands their lives and is local. So C-SPAN found this situation, and then members in that village took it upon themselves to ensure that the girl would not marry. So how did they accomplish this? They went to the religious leader and a member of C-SPAN, Sultan Muhammad Yusuf Zai, and forgive me, I've forgotten how to pronounce things, led the counseling sessions between Farzana's father and the groom-to-be. So the misconception that Islam finds this conscionable is not correct. And the way in which it is mediated is to have a representative talk to the parties involved. The Sultan told the father and the husband-to-be, I told them that Islam prohibits child marriage. Even if a boy and girl are engaged, they cannot live together until the girl is matured. Islam does not permit such marriages until the bride and groom are grown up. And as we know, one of the main reasons is poverty, so I won't dwell on that. Farzana managed to escape this terrible arrangement, and of course what she now values, like all children, is an education. She will face the situation of being married at age 15. I went to one wedding a month when I was on my Fulbright in Uzbekistan, and all the girls were 15 years old. And I taught graduate students, all of them were married at 15, and all had children, and were responsible to 2 families and their own children while they were trying to complete their graduate education. I gained a great deal of admiration for them. So, in conclusion, what is UNICEF doing? This is a model of what it's hoping to accomplish, and it doesn't do it by legislation. It does it by mediation and by grassroots participation. And this is essentially the way the agency works in all countries. CPAN, C-P-A-N, the Child Protection Action Network, is the network that spots these situations and sets up advocacy and mediation in the villages. CAAC is a children in armed conflict situation, and that's been raised, of course, children who are orphaned and are most subject to victimization are children of war, or of conflict, or of refugee camps. And I've been in the refugee camps of Azerbaijan and Armenia. And the greatest victims of war are not the soldiers in the field, but the children first, and the women, mothers, second. So as Mary pointed out, child rights comes under human rights, and the organization that administers that in Afghanistan is AIHRC, and UNICEF cooperates with the component of that which addresses children. I touched on the issues in the community itself, but there's a missing element here, which I worked with in Armenia and the Republic of Georgia, because you cannot implement change without having change agents. Stopping and addressing this situation saved a life, at least until this girl is 15 years old, and makes her life better because she's educated. The requirement is social workers, and it's something that I think does not come to people's mind. So the ministerial plan in Afghanistan, and it will take 10 years to accomplish, is that master's and bachelor's degrees at Kabul University are being set up for social workers because families cannot manage the situation, part because of their poverty and part because of the structure and part because there is no infrastructure. So the individual from CPAN or from UNICEF who is localized needs to have social work professional skills. The other factor in this is that the children, many of them, lack rights, particularly young women, and I could speak for a history of one from Uzbekistan who is now in the United States and has achieved her PhD. But she was one of these people, and it's that they are not registered, so they have no rights. It doesn't matter whether they're children or human beings. If they're not registered, they are stateless, even if they're living in their country, and they have no access to law or to any kind of means to aid themselves at any stage of the game. So social workers are the ones who act as those change agents, but you cannot have them until you have education. I actually helped us create a curriculum based on the one in Yerevan in the Republic of Georgia because we were going nowhere without social workers. Because social workers meet once a week, once a month. America, with its situations in schools, would never survive, or with families, without social workers. So I'm going to stop there. I hope you will go to the site and look at this report, it sounded like BBC or something, of this case study in a village. I'm presenting it to you as a model of what has to take place, that you have a responsible local individuals who are going to do mediation and to change the situation. But then you also need the injection of social workers. UNICEF's role is as an agent to assess, to monitor, and to recommend. It is an agency of the UN which has a relationship to the government of Afghanistan, or it could not be there. And all of this, as I know, as I still continue to mentor people who want to go into the field, is very hard work on the ground. Thank you.
Janet, Mary, thank you very much for your very enlightening presentation and for talking about the success that the United Nations has, as well as UNICEF. So just a couple of little quick notes and then some housekeeping items. This flyer here, I think it was very well made, and you guys should all have it on your desk. But the important thing on this flyer is how you can help. So Mary and Janet both spoke about the work that UNICEF and the UN are doing, and please get in contact with them about becoming a board member with them or with the International Movement Against Child Marriage, assisting in fundraising, helping with publicity, and networking with other groups. So this is really critical, and I hope that at the end of this evening we take a step towards that. A couple of housekeeping things. So right now it's time for the evening prayer. For those that are going to be praying, I think there's some room outside. We'll take about a 5-minute break for everyone that is going to pray to pray outside. And those of you that want to have dinner, please line up here. Food is ready. And I'm a witness for this restaurant. The food is very good. You guys won't be disappointed. It's $10. If you guys can all pitch in, that would be a big help to the organization. So we'll take about a 5-minute break while you guys get food and pray, and then we'll get back and continue with the rest of the program.
که بابای خبری است امید ثمری است امید ثمری است داری
Thank you very much, Mr. Khalid Arlik, for that very beautiful song and the very beautiful video. I think we also need to make sure we mention Mr. Tarim Bayan, who's been working for many years, him and his family and many supporters for Children of War and the work that they've done for many years. And lots of the footage that you guys saw in the video was work that Children of War has done over the years in helping children in Afghanistan. So thank you very much for your work, both of you. So our final speaker for this evening is Dr. Farid Yunus. He's been a mentor of mine for many, many years, has always been involved in the community, helping in so many different projects, locally, internationally. It's amazing to see that after he's accomplished so much throughout his career, he continues his work relentlessly with founding this very important international movement against child marriage. It's an initiative that he founded, but he has told me personally that he wants the leadership to be here in the community. So I hope we can honor his legacy and continue the work that he's started. So without much more introduction, I'd like to pass the mic on to Dr. Farid Yunus.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Praise to the Lord who created men and women equal without any distinction but piety and knowledge. First of all, before I say a few words, I would like to thank a few people that they through this event tonight. It's not me, actually. Actually, there were other people who helped me in this event. The first one is John Arya, who stood behind me from day one, and I thank her for all her support. And then Ramajana Popal, for the last 20 years, when I established Afghan domestic violence prevention 20 years ago, and we have helped like more than 500 families settle divorces, their argument, and a lot of other things. John has been beside me, and I really cherished me and nourished me. She's a great lady, and thank you. And for tonight's event, I'd like to thank Wali John Shakur and his beloved wife, Samira John. This restaurant tonight was given to me for free, without any charge. The food that cost about $21 per head was charged only $10. And I can't say more than this. Thank you. By the way, Samira John, Fauzia and I, we don't have children. But in the course of my life or my career, I have so many girls and boys in the community that they call me father, and Samira John is one of them, that she calls me father. And I also play sometimes a father role to Masood John and Khalida John, his wife, that they really treat me like a father in the community. And of course, I like to thank my wife, that without her I can't do anything. Because when you stand in the community against establishment, especially religious establishment, you face a lot of threat and a lot of obstacles and a lot of problems. It's not an easy thing. But if I do not have that support at home, I can do nothing in the community. So Fawzia John has been a great help, and thank you. And for tonight again, I'd like to thank Mary. Appreciate it coming from United Nations Associations in the chapter of San Francisco. Janet, thank you very much. Beautiful presentations. We hope to cooperate with you. We learn from you, and inshallah we are doing better. Dr. Bergis had to take the train. Thank you very much. Renaud John, again, thank you for all your help and beautiful statistical presentation. Zakia John, yes, blame is on me. I didn't tell you that you should speak, but you're such an eloquent speaker that you don't need a notice ahead of time. So Zakia John had another engagement today, but when I called her that tonight we are inaugurating this international movement against child marriages, she canceled her event and came here. And that was a great honor. Thank you very much. Veronica, appreciate it. Wonderful, and inshallah we will be cooperating more and help each other. We need to learn from you, from your experience. We can't do these things alone. We just together, inshallah. Aisha John, just like my daughter, she's a great young lady, a very good political activist. I'm sorry that we lost in the election. I saw your notes on Facebook, but this is a country of law. Being angry, doing uncivilized things, uttering it's against Islam and against moral values, that we do things because things did not work in our favor, but we could resort to law and justice. And Khalil John, I've been working with Khalil John for the last, since 1993. Khalil John and Azim John Azimi, who is not here, with Karim John and Farzana John, they are running a television show here in Fremont locally, Sada wa Simai, Afghanistan, Voice and Image of Afghanistan. They started it in 1991. I joined them in 1993 until 2007. And remember this, I was coming from Bay Point, a suburb of Concord, East Bay, to Fremont every week for 5 minutes show. I was only coming here to Fremont for 5 minutes show, but that show was, correct me if I'm wrong, became very popular, very popular. And one thing that I always mention this, so people should remember, that the religious community stood against me, and they said that they're collecting signatures to kick me out of the TV station. Khalil John stood behind me and said that I bring 1,000 signatures that Dr. Yunus should stay here. Khalil John, thank you. Yes, we have a long way with Khalil John, and he's really a great man. And thank you for the beautiful melody and compose that you did about children. And Karim John, you did an excellent job. Karim John is Vice President of Children of War, that they're supporting children in Afghanistan for education, and he is doing a great job, sincerely doing a great job. I thank you all for coming. Those of you who made it tonight, I really appreciate it, because we can't do it alone. It is just an initiative that one person has to take. But the Quran that I love, the Quran, and I love Islam, it says that Allah will not change the fate of a people unless they changed for themselves. We as a people have to change. And I agree with Fareed Zakaria, the popular CNN anchor man, that a few weeks ago had a show on CNN and said that Muslims have to bring some reforms. Our problem in Afghanistan is that we have a religious dogmatic group that they become a big obstacles. So it's not a human rights issue. It is not an economic issue. It is also a religious issue. But many religious people don't want to admit, because they bring the pretext that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married such a young girl like Aisha, and so Muslims are allowed to marry. But now we have documents and research proved that Muhammad never ever married at the age of Aisha at the age of 9. So that fabricated story damaged millions of girls in these countries, and someone has to stand up. But if we're afraid of the religious group, if you're afraid of the establishment, if you're afraid of the government, to me as a Muslim, you're only afraid of Allah. If you're afraid of any other being, then you're a polytheist, you're a mushrik, because you're afraid of two people or two things. That's not working. So a long time ago, when I established Afghan domestic violence prevention within the Afghan coalition, and again this program, International Movement Against Child Marriages, is also under supervision of Ronald John, because I don't like the bureaucracy, that I create a new office and bylaws, and no, we have an office, our purpose is to work and to help people, that's it. So I was thinking as a researcher of Islamic studies, that is God just or not just? And you should ask this question yourself. Is Allah or God just or not just? Muslims believe that Allah is absolute just. Then if Allah is absolute just, how could an absolute just discriminate against his own creation or be biased against his own creation? So when he is absolute just, there's no discrimination between men and women. Then if you reach to a conclusion that Allah is not just, but then why are we so stupid to worship him? Why are we worshiping Allah that he's not just? So Allah is just. He never discriminated against men or women or any religion or any race or tribe or nobody. It is all creation. And that's the beauty of creation. Men and women complement each other. That's all. That's all what zawj means pair. That's what zawj is in vegetation kingdom, in animal kingdom, as well as in human species. So then we are talking about democracy. Is democracy just voting, or it's a culture? If democracy is voting, nothing will be solved. But if democracy is culture, in a culture of liberty, freedom, justice, that should be for all, not just men. So democracy by itself, government of people, by the people, for the people, as Abraham Lincoln said, it is not just voting, that we go in the ballots and cast our vote. It's a culture. And that's culture of liberty, freedom for all, justice for all. And no man has a superiority over a woman, and no woman has a superiority over a man, but piety and knowledge. That's it. And that needs to be propagated in Afghanistan or around the world. I agree with many economists and researchers that they see the problem of Afghanistan or other developing countries as poverty. But I have to tell you that born and raised in Afghanistan in Kabul, studied in Europe for 3-4 years, lived here for 35 years. My experience and my education tell me to tell you that it's not just economic poverty that caused these things, it's cultural poverty. In developing countries, and my master's degree was in history and history of developing countries. In developing countries, we invest a lot of money in infrastructure, building roads, building hospitals, building schools, but we are not investing on our people. We borrow money from the World Bank and International Monetary Fund for infrastructure, but we are not investing on people. How we should have a civilized people, how we should educate our people to be civic and civilly, and act civilly. So the problem of Afghanistan and other developing countries, it's not only economic poverty or security and all that. We have seen men that they are educated, they have a PhD, and they abuse their wives. And you know it. In a Muslim country, we have men who have PhDs, and they have a very good job and making a lot of money. He married his daughter at a young age to an older man. So this theory of poverty, it's not always true. It's the cultural poverty that the educated class and uneducated class, both of them are having this cultural poverty. Like israf or extravagance. Many families in Afghanistan, they commit extravagance in a poor country like Afghanistan. And they are educated people. They are even in the seat of power. So I have to tell you that I disagree with this idea of economic poverty, that if we have, in this country there's economic poverty, cultural poverty. There's one principle in democracy, and I teach to my students in the school, we have to agree to disagree. That's part of democracy. But smashing windows, burning cars, damaging properties, that's cultural poverty. That's not just that people are angry. You could be angry, but you still have to be civilized by the rules of law. And that's why in Medina, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he changed the name of Yathrib to Medina. Medina means city, but now you're metropolitan. Now you're cosmopolitan. Now there's no tribalism or misogyny or child labor or any of that nature. We're all men and women are all equal. That's what he established in Medina. But unfortunately, Muslim countries were derailed, totally derailed by the principles that Muhammad, peace be upon him, laid down in Medina, and we resort to tribalism and all these atrocities committed in our land. It is because we have a strong, deep cultural poverty. So education, as everybody talk about education, I'm an educator myself. There's nothing wrong with education. The Quran says, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, oh my Lord, advance me in knowledge. And Muhammad said that learning is mandatory for all men and women. There's nothing wrong with education, but we have to inject cultural education. Not only writing and reading and all that, but we also enrich them with cultural values. So these cultural values stand them firm to defend himself, herself, and move forward. Again, I thank you very much for all your support and help, Umar John, Naid John, Samira John, everybody. And this is just the beginning. I'm not going to be like president of this movement or holding an office and this and that. I may play as a role, but I like people like Masood John, Khalida John, Aisha John, all these young people. Next, in 3 months, I turn 65, and I will be officially a senior. I don't look like it, but that's the way it is. I will be officially a senior. In a few years, we will be tired and exhausted. It is our youth that run the show, but we, the elders, as we have a common thing, the energy of our youth and the experience of the elderly, I think we can make it. And I leave it for Aisha John, Masood John, Khalida John, and any other, Majid John, anybody. Your name was Majid John, right? Nabil John. We're going to leave this movement for our youth because one thing that is very bad in Afghan community that these older people never wants to leave this association, and that's not good. They have to leave these association, all association, for our youth, because our youth is our legacy. Whatever we did, good or bad, Allah will judge, people will judge when we leave this world. But I think we should get our people involved. And one more thing that I'd like to thank sincerely is Lemar TV, Habib John Zargi, who's always ready to do the filming and videotaping and all that for us. Habib John not only a support of the community, but is a good friend. Even if I get mad at him, he still loves me. So that is the point. And other than that, thank you for coming. If you have any question for me, this movement, international movement against child marriages, is under supervision of Ramadan, because I don't have time for bureaucracy. Our purpose is to help people. And we are going to write letters from January with the help of Mary and Janet and Veronica and all these colleagues, write to World Bank that when you give money, make it attached, the string attached, that we gave you this money, but this should be stopped. And at the same time, we write letters to the Afghan government. And I see here that Mrs. Rashid is here. I don't know if she's still here. Mrs. Rashid, are you still here? Yes. Mrs. Rashid is the wife of Rashid Rashid, one of our top-notch judges in the country that came tonight. We are going to talk to him how we could enforce these laws against marriages. So, if you please also, those of you who want to support us and help us, this support is not just financial support. We need a lot of help advising us. We need to learn from you. We need to learn from you. We need your feedback. We need your support. If you want to write your email and all of you and your phone number, so should we create a kind of database for this movement. And starting in January, we are going to start working, writing letters and meeting, and probably in December, as you mentioned, this program coming from UN, we might be able to be introduced in that body. So we do as much as we can, but someone has to start somewhere. Believe it, as Zakijan mentioned, and I thank her, I started this Afghan domestic violence in 1997. We helped like more than 500 families in this country that either they were divorcing or they were fighting or anything, because we created cultural family counseling, not just family counseling. We advise them based on their own values and their own culture and their own beautiful Islam, because there's nothing wrong with Islam. That's also need to be very clear, that there's nothing wrong with Islam. It's just that us, we practice it wrong. Okay. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate your coming, and good night.